With news that Jodie Whittaker has filmed her regeneration scene, officially ending her run as the Doctor, I thought it'd be a good idea to look back and muse on just what made her, the first female incarnation of the Doctor, such a colossal failure. And boy, was it ever. Capaldi had quite a few stinkers in his day, not just stories, but season-wide arcs that landed like a runny dog turd on the carpet. But even in those troubled times, there was always the occasional moment, speech, or story that left fans in awe of his gravitas and the show's wasted potential. But when it comes to Whittaker, actually, you know what? You tell me. What was it? What great episode? What great moments were there? I'm genuinely curious as to what there was in the vast wasteland of her era to appreciate. What crack bit of dialogue, charismatic moment, or enthralling tale will you look back on and fondly remember when it was first beamed into your skull? It doesn't exist. In fact, the most flattering things I've ever heard about her entire run on the show was, hey, remember that one scene where she behaved like the Doctor for a few scenes? This whole incarnation was a fucking disaster from snout to tail, and the reason was quite simple and actually has nothing to do with gender, at least not in the way you might expect. Now, I've watched a lot of Doctor Who. I've sat through stories so boring you'd jam a cattle prod into your scrotum just for some excitement. So I say this with a bit of authority, but my assessment of 50 plus years of the show is that they can roughly be broken into three distinct eras. Classic Doctor Who, the Monster Era. Do you know what made Doctor Who the smash success it was? Monsters. Whether it's the Daleks, Cybermen, Zygons, or Silurians, the foundation for the show was built on the popularity of whatever monster of the week the Doctor was matching wits with. Kids hiding behind the couch terrified of the screaming trash cans on the telly. It must have been scary shit for the 60s and 70s, but then along came the 80s with slashers, movies with all kinds of grotesque practical effects that make low-budget monsters seem silly in comparison. So with waning popularity, the show limped towards its demise and ultimate cancellation in 1989. Then, in 2005, the show came back under the helm of Russell T Davies, and we entered a new era. RTD Doctor Who, the Companion Era. Companions were always a part of Doctor Who, but when RTD grabbed the reins of the show, he did something very smart with the formula. He made the companion the secret main character. In Series 1, we had the Doctor, Rose, and the Bad Wolf arc. Who is the Bad Wolf? Rose is the Bad Wolf. The second series culminates with Rose and the Doctor tragically separated from one another in different dimensions. Series 3 is about the growth and triumph of Martha Jones. Series 4 is about Donna Noble becoming a strong and important person, only to have it all cruelly taken away from her in the end because remembering any of it would kill her. Do you see where I'm going with this? The RTD era, while certainly flawed, is marked by large swooping arcs about the companion, not the Doctor. The Doctor fights the Daleks and Cybermen, and the Master, rinses and repeats and comes and goes. New actors come in, but the character is basically the same, and his trajectory from season to season is as indistinguishable as the TARDIS itself. He's a vessel, a well-acted vessel, but a vessel through which the show tells stories of ordinary human beings going off and having wild adventures and growing as people. Seeing Martha become confident, accomplished, and strong enough to walk away, or watching Donna Noble's excruciating fate just as she reaches her apex, is some of the highest points in the show's history. But after Series 4.5, RTD departed, which leads us into the third and final phase of Doctor Who. Mafnal Doctor Who, the Doctor's Era. Remember what I just said about the Doctor? About how he's just a vessel to tell stories about regular people? Well, you can forget all that now. That's old news. Moffat's here, and he has a plan. Grand stories about who the Doctor is and the mystery behind him, universe-altering events that are alluded to years in advance and never really live up to the hype. The Doctor is known by everyone, everywhere, every time, with dozens of names and nicknames. The Doctor and his companion don't go on adventures so much as adventure seeks out the Doctor because he is the most important being in the known universe. The companions, meanwhile, don't go on journeys of personal growth, but are like pieces of furniture in the Doctor's living room. Amy and Rory are River Song's parents. Like Mary and Joseph, they're important because they birth an important character. Clara is important because the giant arc tells us she is before she ever sets foot in the TARDIS. Her only growth is just catching us up to speed on events that already happened. Bill is actually as close as we get to an RTD-era companion, one whose growth is somewhat featured in the series arc. Then she gets killed, but then she's brought back to life, just like Clara and River. Jesus Christ, Moffat, do you even know how to end a character arc any other way? But then, Moffat's time ended, and along came Chris Chibnall and the first female Doctor. So its current year, and people, many of whom don't watch or barely care about the show, are suddenly cheering as the first woman to play the Doctor is announced. What are you going to do? You can't have her play narrative second fiddle to her companion, even though that's exactly what made the reboot memorable and enjoyable. And you can't make the Doctor be any less important than her predecessors. We need progress, after all. So you have to make her even more important than Moffat's Doctors. Not just known in the known universe, in the unknown universe, the lost universe, parallel universes. Her companions? Who gives a shit? Just throw 3 of them in there. None of them will do anything impactful but say, "What's that?" And then we'll drop them off back home pretending they had any meaningful arc. Shit, we need to make it even more important. The last Time Lord, the Time Lord that genocided 2 races, including his own, to end the Time War? Not good enough. Now she's not just the most important Time Lord, she's the original, the progenitor of the Time Lords, and everything that makes them interesting comes from her. Time Lords only exist because she did. Shit, have one of the companions say "what's that" and we'll call it a day. Funnily enough, Jodie Whittaker's Doctor did a fitting job of continuing the legacy of previous Doctors, just their failures. She and Chibnall continued Moffat's legacy of fundamentally misunderstanding what makes the show enjoyable to watch. No one gives a shit about the Doctor's, past, the myths surrounding him or her, the power creep or tension creep of continually escalating stakes. Doctor Who is at its best when it's about ordinary people being taken to wild, far-off worlds, meeting weird new species and encountering interesting moral and philosophical dilemmas. It's a show about companions, human beings, nearly all of which have always been played almost exclusively by women. Women already were the most important characters in Doctor Who. It's just a shame that they weren't appreciated enough to prevent the show from shitting the bed trying to address a problem that didn't even exist.